Good afternoon, Coach. Charles Greaves here with GoBlackNice.com. Uh, the bye week offers you an opportunity to get healthy where needed, but also that additional week to prepare for Air Force. Is there anything different that you do during this week of practice versus a normal week of practice?
Yes, there really is more downtime and time dedicated to trying to get refreshed and healthy. And we've got a team that has really remained fairly healthy, at least being able to play and take the field on Saturday. We've had the same offensive line the entire season, which is remarkable. Um, and so I think for some of those guys, but other positions too, to just practice a couple of times this week and uh, get extra treatment and lift and those kinds of things that maybe we don't get on a normal week where you play on Saturday and play again 7 days later. There's some opportunities for that, and we do structure the practices and what we do each day throughout the week a little bit differently on a bye week.
Great. And this season has seen several players who came into the season with limited, game reps, take their respective games to another level, if you will. From your perspective, are there, one or two or three players that have really put their game into what I call third or fourth gear?
Casey Larkin is one that I think of, just playing really fast and really confident. Um, he wasn't a starter last year, or played some, but he's really played well this year. And so that's one. Um, let's see here. Andon Thomas, hard to argue that he wouldn't be a guy that would stand out. He's a leading tackler. Was hurt in preseason last year, limited plays on defense a year ago. He's playing really well, and I'm happy for him, excited for him. Cody Harris Miller playing nose, and our defensive line really spreads out the reps. Coach Cronin regularly rotates guys in there. I mean, playing anywhere from 15 snaps to 35 snaps, and that would be a lot. Not often guys are getting that many, but he's played a good bit, and he's just strong and tough. And I think he's playing really well, really solid in there right now. Chance Keith, who hardly played at all, he's playing most of the snaps at nickel, taking over for Jimmy Charlo. He's having a good year. Offensively, I just seeing Noah Short really kind of have to change gears. He played defense as a freshman, played essentially a wide receiver position last year, and now playing slot. And watching him Saturday and how well he played in the run game without the ball, just blocking. Really happy with how he's transitioned. Casey Reynolds, though he's played a lot, I think he's playing his best football right now, and making some plays for us. Just the offensive line in general playing really well. But Bill Katsianis, who's played some and really is a first time, all the time starter, is playing as good as any of those guys up front. So that's been great to see. And then our kicker, Granati, he's done a really good job. He's not ever been a starter, and he's got now handling all the duties of kicking and kicking off and doing a nice job.
Right. And my follow-up and final question, Bryson and the team overall have received plenty of national attention, and deservingly so. But in the tradition of football, offensive linemen often don't go or do go unnoticed, despite the quality of play and their added value. So can you talk about your offensive line and what they've meant to the success of this year's team, team that's obviously leading the nation in rushing?
I always feel like the temperament and personality and the performance of the offensive line really indicates what kind of football team their team is. And our guys are tough and rugged. They play together. They're unselfish. And I feel like our team is playing that way right now, just rugged and tough and unselfish. we don't have anybody that somebody said after the game the other day, weapons. We don't need weapons. We just got tough guys that are playing hard and trying to play the best they can. And they're the same. But our football team, certainly our offensive players, our quarterback, we have a great belief in that group that they're gonna do the job and get the blocks and protect the passer and so a lot of confidence that our team has comes from the offensive line.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Charles.
Seth Mendelson, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach. Another great win. You guys are 7-0. You have your 5 toughest games probably ahead of you. Air Force and Navy, of course, are always tough. North Texas has a great offense. Notre Dame is Notre Dame. And who knows what we're going to see at UTSA. What do you think it's going to take for Army to be successful in the second half of the season in terms of individuals or team?
Well, if we can stay healthy, that will help us to be the best that we can possibly be. I don't know if that'll be good enough for us to win any of the games we've got left, but I think having the starters and having the guys that we feel are at the top of the depth chart healthy would certainly aid in our chances. We're really concerning ourselves with one game. This is going to be the hardest game that we've played so far to win. The emotion of these games, how well coached the academies are, the academy coaches and their preparation, how well they understand us, know us offensively and defensively. I mean, Troy and I have been squaring off for 11 straight years, me as the head coach here. And so it's a lot of film and a lot of games. And Brian Newberry's been at Navy for several years as the defensive coordinator now, and his second as the head coach. So he's got a lot of experience playing against us and knows us well. So these academy games are really challenging. This is going to be a hard game to win. And you mentioned all the other opponents we've got. They're all good football teams. Great talent, great coaches, and so we got our hands full for sure, but not any more than we do getting ready for Air Force. So we're just trying to focus our efforts on them and do the best we can to win a game that's every year really, really fiercely contested and a hard game to win.
Last year, this is the exact opposite pretty much of what happened last year. Air Force was undefeated, big favorite. The game was out there. Now it's the opposite here. I'm sure you must be, staying on top of the players and making them aware of, what could happen. So could you talk about that a little bit?
I'm on top of our players all the time about what can happen if we lose focus, lose discipline, fail to prepare, read the headlines. I'm on our guys, win, lose, or draw about that. I don't ever let up, and that's my job. So last year we were just able to execute well, and they have a good football team and a well-coached football team, and like I said, they know us really well, and all the guys on their team and all the guys on our team, we're all in the same recruiting pool, and we all recruited all of them. And so we're just trying to get our guys lined up and perform and play just a little better, good enough to win against them on one Saturday a year. And I think these games, regardless of the record, and it's always been this way. It's historically been this way. I mean, there's been times where one team's really gotten the better of another, but most of these games are really closely contested. I think of the stretch of games we've had against Air Force that have been 3 points or 7 points or overtime, or that's just what this game is. And so in terms of the record and what it was last year and what it is this year, I don't think it makes a hill of beans. It's going to be the team that is able to execute the best and make a couple extra plays. Hopefully that'll be us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Seth.
John, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. John Chuhran, Vets Media. I'm calling today to ask a little bit about your team. Earlier in the season, you mentioned that opponents would have some difficulty sometimes adjusting to your triple option. You're playing another team with another triple option out there. How much difference can you do, given the fact you play each other every year and you know each other so well?
Not much. As I was just saying to Seth, I think just trying to execute the fundamentals, our assignments, and just maybe it's making one more play. Maybe it's just making one more play. And so it's hard. They're hard games to win. They're all hard. Winning a college football game is really difficult to do. And there are really good players and really good coaches, and it's hard to win. But we've managed to do that so far this year. Execute well enough to come out on top, and that's all we're going to try to do in this game, is to try to execute well enough to come out on top. And it's going to be the most difficult game of the year to win, and it's because of who they are and the effort that they put into it, the coaches and their understanding and knowledge of what we do schematically, and just the desire, the pure desire to win and play for the trophy that we all covet so much.
Defensively, do you think your staff is going to have to do things significantly differently?
Every time we play an option team, play one of these academy games, we've got to do things differently. And that's, that's part of the angst of playing an option team. And I guess when I consider, what we're doing on offense and why we have to do what we do on offense, it's because we're different, and it forces other staffs, other defensive coaches to have to change how they approach playing defensive football.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Ken McMillan.
Hey, Jeff, you were talking to earlier about the injuries. Is it a bit of luck, or have you tried new training techniques or equipment that may be helping?
We're fortunate that we are healthy. I think our training staff does a really good job with our guys in terms of injury prevention, certainly treatment of injuries, trying to get guys back as quickly as possible. But Coach Hughes and our strength staff and what they do to train our guys, to condition them for a season, I think they do a tremendous job. But I've also leaned on Coach Hughes and Jackie McCann, Tim Kelly, our training staff, Coach Hughes and the strength staff, really for their input on what we need to be doing from a practice standpoint, the amount of time that we spend on the field, the amount of time that we spend doing other things, whether it's even just a walkthrough or a lift, on how we have our team most prepared for Saturday. And if that means eliminating time off of the practice plan, if that means practicing in a different uniform, maybe not practicing in full gear when we had planned to, or not practicing in shells when we had planned to just keep our guys fresh and prepared. I've really leaned on them for their input on that. And, we've certainly got to practice enough to be prepared. But as I think mentioned earlier, having the starters available and ready makes a big difference. So we've just really tried to focus on how we stay healthy without compromising our time on the field and our preparation.
Jeff, what do you think of the nominations for the Dodd and the Bryant Coaching Awards? Is it humbling? Do you feel like a lot of respect?
Am I nominated for both of those?
Yes.
Well, probably everybody that's got a team that's won more games than they've lost is on that list right now. I don't know what the lists look like, but it's just a byproduct of team success. It's like anything else. Individual accolades go to most often to players who are on teams that have success. So they probably give the CEO of the year award to the guy that's got the most successful business out there too. So it's all a byproduct of the team's success.
Okay. Well, every year is different. I know you're probably consistent with your approach to coaching, but every team and every year is different. Have you tried anything different this year, Jeff? Have you done something this year that maybe you didn't do in 22 and 23 or past years? I'm just curious.
No, I don't know that maybe you can ask other people around here if I'm different, but I don't feel like it's different. I don't feel like I approached the season differently or went through preseason camp differently. We really, I think, trying to be most efficient with our time. That's important here, maybe more so than anywhere else on the planet. But to be smart about the way we practice and really focus on having a healthy team. But no, not really. I just our guys are executing well, and we've been able to make some plays. We had some breaks go our way, and so I hope it'll last.
Mhm. Jeff, the East Carolina coach unfortunately was let go on Sunday following your game. What are your thoughts on that and the business of college football?
He's a great guy. He's a terrific football coach. That's a guy who won a national championship at James Madison, took them to bowl games. He's an outstanding coach. And so, all of us at our respective schools are just trying to do the best we can for the players that we lead. And we have a great responsibility to them, to their families, to the university. And I know Mike did that as well as he could. And I'm disappointed that he's not able to finish the season with them and finish it out with those kids, because I know he loves his players, and I know he has felt a great sense of obligation to the players and the coaches as well as to East Carolina. And so I hate that has to happen, but we are a profession that we understand that when we get into it. And Mac Brown told me one time, he said, "This is a great profession, but a bad business." And sometimes it can just be a bad business because you have things like that happen, and people unfortunately lose their jobs, but it's just part of it. And each university, East Carolina in this case, has to do what they think is best for their institution and for their program. And they're entitled to do that, and they should do that. They should do the things that they think are best for their program and for their university. So, and I know that Mike understands that too. And he's a great professional, and I'm certain I've not talked to him, but I'm certain he's handling it like the true professional that he is.
Jeff, what makes the Air Force rivalry different from Navy?
I think each of those games is different for all those teams. I'm sure they consider their rivalry with each other different than ours. I think it's just the history of the rivalries, maybe the personalities of the programs, the timing of the games, playing one before the other. That I think all that comes into play.
And if you don't mind me asking, what is your relationship with Troy Calhoun? As you said earlier, you've squared off so many times and you recruit against these guys all the time. Can you give us any insight?
I mean, it's probably like every coach that I coach against. Respect as a coach, and for the job he does. He's had a unbelievable run there. He's a terrific coach, really smart. Always has a team that's prepared and well coached, and they're disciplined and really good at fundamentals, and I respect that. But I don't spend a lot of time talking to other coaches. We played Mike Houston on Saturday, and I think a lot of him. He's a really good football coach, but I don't call him on a weekly basis. I've got a job to do here, and it's probably like that with even the academy coaches. When Kenny and I coached together for several years. We were GAs together way back in Hawaii, and then we coached together under Paul Johnson. So we had a little different relationship. I mean, we knew each other a lot better, and had a friendship. But that's when you're coaching, I don't know that the CEO of Pepsi and the CEO of Coca-Cola have weekly conversations and go on vacations together and could talk about a relationship they have. They're competitors. So are we.
Sounds like Macy's and Gimbals back in the day. Last thing, Jeff, this is sort of a general question. Can you ever over prepare for a game? Because I think teams will probably stay basically the same every week. Just tell me about being prepared properly versus over prep.
I don't know if you can be over prepared. We felt like we were well prepared to face the defense that Temple was going to be running against us, and they lined up in a completely different defense. We felt like we were going to be well prepared to play East Carolina in a defense that we thought they would be in, and they were in a completely different defense. So if we weren't prepared for what we might see, then we would have been underprepared. So I don't know that there's such thing as over preparation. I do think there is such thing as giving the players way too much and more than they can handle mentally. And that sometimes is overkill or overload. And then they go into the game with uncertainty or get into a play and can't respond to what's happening on that play.
Does that change every week too? Because I know you guys add a couple of tweaks every week. Do you ever get concerned about how many more things you're throwing at them?
We really work hard to try not to put too much on them, but yes, there's times, and I think games like this, that here's an opponent that knows us so well. Where do you get an edge? Where do you get an edge? I don't think we're physically superior. I don't think we're better coached. I don't think we're different in terms of who we are. I don't know, I guess philosophically, or we're trying to do the same things they are. They got really good coaches, and they got good players, and they're tough, and they go through a lot of stuff as an academy. And so where's our edge? And so I think there's a temptation to, okay, they know we're going to do this. They know we're going to do this. They've seen us do this. What do we come up with that's new? And what things can we throw at them? And sometimes, your menu can become really, really large. And it's the balance of doing what we do really, really well and having enough things that are different or wrinkles that hopefully there's something you can go to if something's not working.
Do you like the cat and mouse?
I mean, that's coaching. That's part of the profession. Just you're just trying to get one step ahead, or keep up and get one step ahead, and they get one step ahead, try to catch up. And I mean, that's coaching, and that's not unique to football. That's every sport there is out there. And I think it's athletes as well. They do that through the course of a game. A guy that's protecting the passer, and he's got a guy over there running these pass rush moves against him. Well, as the game goes along, He says, well, I'm going to try this to try to keep that guy from beating me on the pass rush move. And the pass rush guy's saying, well, I've seen him do this. I'm going to try to counter that move with this. I'm going to try to counter that technique with this. I mean, it's all cat and mouse. That's what's fun about it.